Hello student, welcome back to another lecture on Historia. In this lecture, we're going to start with the Mauryan Empire. So before starting with the Mauryan Empire, we will discuss about the sources of the history of the Mauryas. So there are a number of sources that give us information about the Mauryan Empire. We will discuss them one by one. So we'll begin with first Kautilya's Arthashastra. So Kautilya's Arthashastra, it mainly gives us information with regard to Maurya's political life and also on economic and social life. The book is divided into three parts. And the first part, it gives us information about the kings and his council. The second part, it deals with civil and criminal laws of the Mauryas. And the third part deals with diplomacy and war. And Kautilya is Chandragupta Maurya's prime minister, and he also helped Chandragupta in building the Mauryan Empire. Next is we have Vaishakha Mudra Rakshasa. So Mudra Rakshasa, it is a drama which is written in Sanskrit, and it describes how Chandragupta Maurya, with the assistance of Kautilya's, overthrew the Nandas. Next is we have Buddhist and Jain's religious book. So this book talks about the origin of the Mauryas and also the Varnas to which they belong to. Next is foreign accounts, and that is with regard to Megasthenes' book Indica. So, Megasthenes was a Greek ambassador sent to the court of Chandragupta Maurya by Seleucus Nicator, and Megasthenes wrote Indica, which gave us information about the administration of the capital city of the Mauryas, that is Patliputra, and it also gave us information about the military organization of the Mauryas. Next is with regard to inscriptions and monuments and coins. So these inscriptions, monuments and coins give us information about the Varnas of the Mauryas, and also with regard to the reign of Ashoka, instruction on religious matter, especially Buddhism, and also Ashoka's view on Dhamma. So these are the different sources that give us information about the history of the Mauryas. Now we will discuss about the rulers of the Mauryan Empire. Under this, we're going to discuss about the three important rulers, that is Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, and Ashoka. So first we will discuss about Chandragupta Maurya. He was the one who founded the Mauryan dynasty in 321 BC. He was born at Patliputra, present-day Bihar, as an orphan, but Kautilya bought him and took him to Taxila, that is in East Punjab, and trained him for 8 years to become a conqueror. At the age of 25, assisted by Kautilya, Chandragupta Maurya raised his own army and captured Magadha by defeating the last Nanda ruler, that is Dhanananda. After defeating Dhanananda, he was able to set up the Mauryan dynasty. So with regard to the campaign of Ashoka, first he established his power in the Gangetic plains. Afterward, he moved to northwest India and conquered territories up to the river Indus. Afterward, he moved to central India and conquered territories till the north of Narmada. And he also fought against Seleucus Nicator in 305 BC. Seleucus Nicator is one of the generals of Alexander. After Alexander left India, he put 4 generals in charge of 4 regions in northwest India, and Seleucus Nicator is one of them. After the death of Alexander, he founded the Seleucid Empire and became the master of Western Asia. And in the war that was fought between Chandragupta Maurya and Seleucus Nicator, Seleucus was defeated by Chandragupta. As a result, he gave this portion to Chandragupta Maurya. And it was Seleucus Nicator who sent Megasthenes to the court of Chandragupta Maurya to mark the friendship. And towards the end of the reign of Chandragupta Maurya, he embraced Jainism. So as a result, he gave up his throne in favor of his son Bindusara, and he moved to Stravana Belgana, where he starved himself to death in 297 BC. So the next is Bindusara. Bindusara was the son of Chandragupta Maurya, and he succeeded his father in 298 BC. He was called by the Greeks as Amitrochates, that means slayer of enemy. With regard to the campaign of Bindusara, this whole region was brought under his control. And with regard to foreign affairs, he also maintained friendly relations with the West. He was in contact with Antiochus I-Soter. Antiochus I-Soter was the son of Seleucus Nicator, who fought against Chandragupta Maurya, but later on they maintained friendly relations. And even Demetrius was sent by Antiochus I as an ambassador to the court of Bindusara. So the next ruler we're going to talk about is Ashoka. Ashoka the Great was the third king of the Mauryan Empire, best known for his renunciation of war, development of the concept of Dhamma, promotion of Buddhism, and pan-Indian political entity. Ashoka is one of the sons of Bindusara. His mother's name was Subhadrangi. Although Ashoka was one of the greatest king of ancient India, his name was lost to history until he was identified by James Prinsett, the British scholar and main officer of East India Company. There are no accounts on the early life of Ashoka, but details of his youth, rise to power, and renunciation of violence following the Kalinga campaign comes from Buddhist sources. Ashoka means without sorrow, and he is also known as Devanampiya Piyadasi, written in his edict, which means beloved of the gods or pleasant to behold. So when Ashoka was a prince, he was sent to Taxila by his father Bindusara to suppress a revolt that occurred there. He was successful in his mission, and after which he was sent to Ujjain to govern the city there. For some time, he was the governor of Ujjain. So Ujjain is in present-day Madhya Pradesh, whereas Taxila is in East Punjab, present-day Pakistan. So Bindusara died in 272 BC, after which there was a struggle of succession among his sons for a period of 4 years, that is from 272 BC to 268 BC, in which Ashoka emerged victorious. It is of the view that Ashoka won the succession war by killing 99 brothers, whereas some scholars are of the view that Ashoka did not kill 99 brothers but he killed only two brothers and spared the youngest one. They support this view because the scholars believe that Ashoka did not have 99 brothers and he has only three brothers. So, after winning the succession battle, he was coronated to the throne of Magad in 268 BC. Ashoka fought only one war in his lifetime, and that is the Kalinga War, which took place 8 years after his coronation, that is in 260 BC. So this is Kalinga here, and this Kalinga is important to the Mauryan Empire because it controlled the routes to South India by land and also by sea. So this Kalinga war was important in the history of India because this war changed Ashoka. After seeing the large-scale manslaughter, bloodshed and loss of property, Ashoka decided not to conquer territories through war but through Dharma Vijaya, that is conquest through propagation of Dharma. And after this Kalinga war, Ashoka converted himself into Buddhism, but his conversion to Buddhism was gradual. So with regard to his foreign affairs, Ashoka maintained good relations with Sri Lanka. He even sent his son Mahendra Varman and his daughter Sanghamitra to spread Buddhism there. And he also maintained good relations with successor of Seleucus Nicator, that is Antiochus II. And with regard to the extent of empire of Ashoka, from his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya he received this portion, whereas from his father he received this portion, and this portion Kalinga was conquered by him. So the extent of the Mauryan Empire during the time of Ashoka spreads from Bengal to Afghanistan and from Hindu Kush to Mysore. Administering the Mauryan Empire. So under this we will discuss about the administration of the Mauryan Empire. With the rise of the Mauryas, monarchical form of government triumphed in India. Republics and oligarchies which were thriving before the Mauryas declined. However, monarchy was not absolute as there were council of ministers who assist the king. And for better administration, the empire was divided into central, into province, and into local administration or government. So in the center, the king is the head. He is the lawgiver, the one who makes the law. He is the supreme judge, meaning that his judgment is final and no one can defy that. He is also the supreme commander or supreme head of the army, and he is also the chief executive. So even though the king is the head of everything, he has been assisted by a council of ministers or mantris known as senior minister, and also amatyas who are the executive officer. So the council of ministers or mantris comprise the purohita, that is the priest, the mahamantri, that is the prime minister, the senapati, that is the commander of the army, and yuva raja, that is the crown prince. So these mantris assist the king in all matters, for example, in making the laws, settling disputes, and also help him in the conduct of the administration of the empire. Even though these mantris are there to assist the king has the final say in all the matters. And aside from this council of ministers, there are different ministers in charge of different departments in the center. And the next official is the amatyas. So the amatyas are the executive officer or civil servant, the one who carries out the work. They assist and work under the mantris, and they also look after the day-to-day administration within the empire, and they are similar to our present-day IS officer. Provincial Administration. The empire is divided into provinces. The central province is where the central government resides, so as a result, the capital Patliputra is the capital of the empire. Aside from this, there are four provinces, that is the Northern Province, the Southern Province, the Eastern Province, and the Western Province with their capital. In the Northern Province, the capital is Taxila. In the Eastern, the capital is Tosali. In the Southern, the capital is Suvarnagiri. And in the Western, the capital is Ujjain. And if you want to remember the name of this capital, you can remember the alphabetical order, that is STU. S is for Suvarnagiri, T is for Tosali and Taxila, and U is for Ujjain. So the spellings of the capital are given here. So in the province, the governors are appointed to look after the administration, and they mostly belong to the royal families. They were responsible for maintenance of law and order and also to collect taxes. Apart from this, in the province, they also have autonomous states. States that are free from the control of the central government, but they function on a feudatory basis, as in they retain their freedom by giving yearly or monthly tribute to the king. Local administration. For local administration, it is divided into district, and district is further divided into cities and village. The district is also known as Janapadas. The district administration was under the charge of three officials. They are Pradeshikas, Rajukas, and Yuktas. Pradeshika is the head in a district. He is responsible for collection of revenue or land tax and also maintains law and order in the district. Whereas Rajukas survey and assess the land for land revenue collections. Lands are usually surveyed and assessed in terms of the quality of the soil, size of the soil, and annual average produce to fix the land tax to be paid by the people. And lastly, yuktas are the subordinate officials. They work under the pradeshikas and rajukas, and they mainly do secretarial and accounting work. Cities. So cities were divided into a number of wards, and each city has its own court of justice or city superintendent, also known as nagarika. And the duty of nagarika was to maintain law and order in the city. According to Megasthenes, in Patliputra, that is the empire's capital, the city superintendent was assisted by a board of 30 members to look after the administration of Patliputra. These 30 members were divided into six subcommittees. So this is the 30 members, and they are divided into six committees. And in each committee there are five members, so altogether 30 of them assist the city superintendent. And in order to protect the cities from enemies' attack, the cities were surrounded by moats, and they were also well fortified by walls on all sides. Moats are ditches which are normally filled with water. Village. So village is the smallest unit of administration. Head of the village is called Gramini. Aside from Gramini, there are village elders and also Gopa who helped in the administration of the village. Village elders assist Gramini in village administration and also help him in settling disputes, while Gopa maintained all the records of the village from land to property to population. Military system, the accounts of Megasthenes and Kautilya. The Mauryan army was well organized, and it was the mainstay of the empire. They were able to establish a vast empire with the help of a powerful army. The army was often led by the king himself, but in the last days of the Mauryas, their Senapati began to overshadow the king and transfer the loyalty of the troops to himself. The different wings and units of the army was placed under the Senapati. According to Megasthenes, the war office was divided into six boards with five members each to control the six wings of the military. They are the infantry, cavalry, chariots, elephants, transport, and shipping. So Kautilya mentions three types of soldiers. They are the hereditary fighting class, the mercenaries, and artisans. The hereditary fighting class are the standing army or regular troops of the king. The mercenaries are the higher troops, while artisans are those troops which are supplied by the forest tribes. And even Greek author Pliny, he mentions that the fighting forces of the Mauryan government during the time of Chandragupta Maurya consists of 6,000 infantry, 3,000 chariots, and 9,000 elephants. And the different types of weapon used by the Mauryan soldiers are the swords, the lances, the javelins, and bucklers. And with regard to their salaries, the soldiers are paid in cash, and trained soldier was paid 500 panas. So panas are silver punchmark coins. They are called punchmark because these coins bear symbols that are punched on the coins. And the salaries of the soldiers differ from rank to rank. Espionage, the secret police. Kautilya, in his book Arthashastra, mentions about the espionage systems. The king personally appoints a large number of his trusted men as espionage. The duty of this spy was to watch the conduct of the officers working under the government and also to inform the king about the public opinions. The spies comprised of ascetic, jugglers, bards, prostitutes, fortune tellers, etc. So that is the end of the lecture. I hope you have learned something. If you did, please give a thumbs up and also share this video to as many people as possible. And also don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. The link is given below. And see you guys in my next video.